What's up, Knicks fans? It's your boy Brian here, the random Knicks guy. So first, let me apologize that I haven't posted any videos. I wanted to do something after the draft, but when the draft came about, I had a wedding to attend, so I really couldn't do anything. Um, and then the draft and free agency were so close together. Like, free agency has just passed. We're about to start summer league. At the time of this recording, it's Sunday, August 8th at 1:30. Knicks play their first summer league game soon. We're gonna get our first look at the new rookies, and so I'm very excited. So I want to do a quick video, sort of breaking down the Knicks off season so far. I don't think there's much left, and I'll touch on that at the end of the video. So the first thing I want to touch on is the draft. I give the Knicks a solid B plus for the draft. I think they got good players in Quentin Grimes and Miles McBride. I like Jericho Sims, late second, um, and Rotas Kukabudis or whatever, the guy from Latvia. He's a Euro stash, so I don't really have anything bad to say, but I'm not going to also say it's something good because I don't see him with the team this year, or making a contribution anytime soon. So I really can't, I really am kind of neutral on that. The only reason why the Knicks don't get an A for me at the draft is because Plan A was taken away from them. They weren't able to trade up. I think the rumors about interest in Duarte, Trey Murphy, and Trey Mann were real, and they were taken from the Knicks before the Knicks have a chance to select them. So it was Plan B. It was Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride, Jericho Sims, and a Euro stash. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that really did not like was the protections the Knicks accepted for that pick from Charlotte. So basically, the way it is protected to 2027, completely lottery protected till 2025. Um, Charlotte cannot trade it because they don't have control over it. And basically, it requires Charlotte to make the playoffs in order for the Knicks to get the pick. And it's kind of not being able to take advantage if Charlotte runs into some bad luck or their typical inconsistencies and they fall off. But as Jonathan Macri pointed out in his newsletter, Charlotte can't trade that pick either. They don't have full control for picks till 2027, and if they want to trade a first round pick in a trade, then they have to negotiate protections with the Knicks. So it kind of becomes a neutral. I didn't like it, but that's neither here nor there. I like the two players we got in Grimes and McBride. I think Jericho Sims is going to go to the G League and get some development time. But we'll see what happens. Him as a fourth, fifth big. Also, we don't know what will happen with Mitchell Robinson next offseason. They picked up his option. We don't know if he'll sign an extension or if he'll choose to leave. Or if he chooses to leave. So, as a guy in development who could probably replace him, that's fine. Now moving on to their free agency. Now, when free agency started, it was a little underwhelming. They brought back Burks, Noel, and Rose, 3-year deals for each. I think a lot of people think the Noel one is an overpay, but when the news came out later, all those third years were full team options. So the third year is non-guarantee, and the team can fully decline their options should a free agent want to come to the Knicks. But also, if there is a trade at the deadline this season or next season for a superstar, then they become expiring salary. So if you're a team that the superstar doesn't want to stay with you and you say, you know what, we'll blow it up, not this season coming up, but the next season, they become expiring contracts. You play them out to the end of the 2022-23 season. You decline their options. They're off your books. And you can start your rebuild. So that's a very smart move. They're movable contracts. They're decent. I think we are undervaluing continuity. We're having a very short off season, and so basically, majority of your team is coming back from last year, and I think that helps in terms of learning the playbook and learning the defensive sets and rotations and and everything, and that's gonna make it easier, I think, for guys. The two new additions in Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker to come in and not feel overwhelmed because they're not playing with a whole new team. See, it's tough when it's a whole new team that Tibbs had. It's 90% of the same roster Tibbs had last year. Really just upgrading Alfred Payton and Reggie Bullock in the starting lineup, which is a very good thing. And, having majority of your rotation know how to play and know how you want to play as a coach is probably going to help the two new guys get a little more acclimated quickly because season starts in October. We're already in August. Things move fast, right? So it'll be preseason before we know it. So now let me touch on the two new additions. Evan Fournier first. I like the signing. I don't see him as necessarily an overpay. I think he's right about market value. I think if you're looking at the Evan Fournier contract and you're saying the Knicks overpaid, I think you do not do enough research. I think you need to go realize what NBA contracts are, okay? Because guys who average 18, 19 a game, they're making well over $20 million, okay? These super teams skew the value. They skew the value of NBA contracts because you see players willing to take the vet minimum to go chase a ring. That doesn't apply to every team. That applies to the super teams. We are not a super team. We're nowhere near a super team. Okay? So you're not going to get players on vet minimums. You're not going to get an 18 a game score on a vet minimum. You're just not. Okay? Evan Fournier, around $19 million per year, is market value for a guy putting up his numbers. Now, his defense may not be the best, but Tom Thibodeau teaches good team defense, and I think team-wise, the defense will be okay. The Knicks were a top 3 defense, but they were a bottom barrel offense. So I think if you say, well, we'll be a top 10 defense, just to be a middle of the road offense, the Knicks are going to do fine. They're going to be fine. They're going to contend for the playoff spot. Okay, so that's how I view the Evan Fournier pickup. I think he's fairly paid. The 4th year is not guaranteed. And he's going to provide shooting, off the dribble scoring, a little bit of facilitating. And I think the defense will suffice. And I think Tibbs will help him, hide his defensive weaknesses. Okay, now the next pickup, of course, was the hometown kid, Kemba Walker, fellow Bronx native, right, from Soundview. I'm excited. I know there was a lot of talk about Knicks should go get Kemba Walker, but Kemba Walker on a 2-year, $73 million contract is a no-brainer. Kemba Walker on a 2-year, $16 million contract, $8 million per year, is low risk, high reward. If he can be healthy, he solves the point guard position for now. He's not the point guard of the future. He's not going to play 10 more years at the point guard position. He probably has about 5 to 7 years left overall in his NBA career. About 3 to 5 as an NBA starter. Okay, his knees are not holding up. I wish they were. I really wish they were, because this would be a steal. But his issue is health, and if he's healthy, he's a good, solid point guard who can score, who can facilitate, who can get people in their spots, who can run the pick and roll, who can shoot from 3. I don't have to sit here and see Julius Randle double teamed because the center is a non-factor on offense and the point guard's a non-factor on offense, okay? And you don't have to put the other team's worst defender on Reggie Bullock on the defensive end, because Reggie Bullock is only a catch-and-shoot three guy. He really wasn't much. If Trae Young could conserve energy on the defensive end by guarding Reggie Bullock was not that great of an offensive player. He was great in his role, defensively trying to pick up the best guy on the other team, providing the catch and shoot threes. But, I mean, realistically, Reggie Bullock is a backup on a good team. Not just a super team, but a good team. He's going to fulfill that role in Dallas. So again, nothing to Reggie Bullock. I loved Reggie Bullock, and want to see. Hopefully, he has success and he's fully recovered from his neck injury, and he's gonna do well. But like, we're being realistic here. We're upgrading Elfrid Payton and Reggie Bullock out of the starting lineup for Kemba Walker and Fournier. Kemba Walker's issue is only health. Fournier's issue is his defense might not be as good as Reggie Bullock's, but let's not pretend like Reggie Bullock made NBA All-Defense. Okay? So Evan Fournier, he's going to probably pick up some better defensive habits playing for Tom Thibodeau, but Tom Thibodeau's going to, at least on team defense, he's going to cover for Evan Fournier and to an extent Kemba Walker's weaknesses. I truly believe that, and I think if they keep Mitchell Robinson, he comes back healthy, with him and Noel and their ability to really rotate over and guard on the, Mitchell Robinson's ability to guard on the perimeter, and the fact that Mitch solved his foul troubles, they're going to be fine. I think a little more defensive buy-in from Julius Randle will also help. I think now that, and we'll get to his extension, and I think R.J. Barrett is also going to be a better perimeter defender, one-on-one defender, than he was last year. So I think the team defense, they'll probably be top 10 in defense. Not top 3 or 5 like they were, top 10. But if they can be top 15 in offense, they're going to win more games than they're going to lose. And that's the most important thing, right? That they win more games than they lose. Okay. Now the big thing that happened also was that Julius Randle signed his extension. I was worried because let's put it this way. Julius Randle had a great season last season. And if you're saying to yourself as a Knicks fan, he might not do it again, you're very fair in assuming that. But no one's a superstar until they have that great season the second time. So I think he's going to have another great season. I think his scoring might dip. He may not average 24 points. He might average 22 points. I think his rebounds will stay at 10 plus. And I think he'll probably upgrade to maybe 6 or 7 assists per game. Because now he has better offensive players around him in Fournier, Kemba. And that'll alleviate, so, defenses can't just double team him. And he just gotta pray he either figures it out or something. Because honestly, if you're Julius Randle and you're double teamed, and the only person open is freaking Elfrid Payton in the corner, are you really gonna make that pass? No, I'm not. I'd rather Julius Randle shoot through a double team than have ever passed it to Elfrid Payton. Poor Elfrid Payton. I'm really crapping on him. But you get my point. My point is that, you had guys who were so limited on offense that the defense didn't care about them. This is essentially how Atlanta shut Julius Randle down. You got to have everybody on the floor has got to be able to do something. Otherwise, if it's just Randle and Barrett, and then they're nothing burgers in between, they can be double teamed, they can be extra guarded, they can play it harder, and you're going to stop the Knicks from scoring. So that's what happened last year in the playoffs. I think R.J. Barrett will come back better, but Julius Randle signed his extension. If he plays at an All-NBA level again, that's a steal. If he makes the All-Star game again, That's a steal. Like, make no mistake. You think I don't get why Knicks fans think that great players take less money. Guys like Durant and LeBron are making $40 to $50+ million annually. Damian Lillard's on a $45 million contract. Okay? Giannis is about to be making over $40 million as his extension kicks in. The great players who make All-NBA and All-Stars year after year are making double than what this guy makes. Again, you might say, but if he's not, then that's fine. He's on a contract that is below that. He's never going to cross over $30 million. So he is on a good value contract that says he might be a fringe all-star. Fine, he's a fringe all-star. That's fine. He's not being paid top dollar. Had he denied the extension and had another great season, then he would be earning top dollar at $201 million. But he did the team and us as fans a favor by leaving over $80 million on the table. Okay? So you really can't hate him for signing the extension. You may doubt he may repeat his season last year, and it's very hard. The season he had was so good in so many ways. It's very hard to see him having exactly the same effect. But he doesn't have to, because they've upgraded talent around him to an extent, and hopefully Obi will play 15 minutes a game and give this guy some rest, because I also think he started to fade at the end of the season because the minutes caught up to him. And that's also going to help him in, playing at a high level when he doesn't have so much load to carry. He's not going to carry the whole load, right? It's not just him and RJ who we need to have 20-plus point games in order to have a chance to win the game. If he and RJ are both averaging over 20 points, we're going to win a lot more games than we are going to lose, okay? And we're going to get good points from Fournier and Kemba. That's going to be a good team. So, I really like that he decided to stay. I think it helps the team in multiple ways. One, cap flexibility, okay? The Knicks will still have a slot or two for a max superstar. The cap is going to go up. TV deals are going to go up. Everything's going to go up, all right? So when he's locked in on the $30 million a year, and you have $90 million in free cap space, that's two superstars. RJ Barrett, if you're wondering about his extension, because we drafted him, his extension gets grandfathered in, and you can exceed the salary cap in order to pay him. Everything gets kind of sort of tricky when we talk about salary cap rules, like they fucking matter. They don't, obviously. But yeah, RJ Barrett is eligible for an extension next summer. He's going to get it. But his salary doesn't have to count against what's available to free agency because he was drafted by you. This is why Golden State had the ability to pay Steph Curry and Klay Thompson big contracts and get Kevin Durant, because they drafted Curry and Thompson. I don't think Thompson was on a big money contract just yet, but because you drafted Steph Curry, it doesn't count. You have the bird rights. You can exceed the cap to retain him. They had the cap space to sign Kevin Durant. So it's these sort of predictions that I think the front office is playing with to maintain flexibility going further, and that's why I give the free agency part of it another B+. You got a little better. You didn't get the home run hit, but I think they hit a double in that they got Kemba and Fournier, and they're gonna be good. And they're gonna compete for a playoff spot. And I think going into next season is sort of a win-win scenario. Either we get a playoff spot or, again, win the lottery and we have a chance at a real good young rookie with a little extra ammo to potentially move up. So it's not all doom and gloom. This isn't forever the dumpster fire that it used to be when you were starting guys like Andrea Bargnani, Lou Amundsen, Langston Galloway, Lance Thomas, and Alexis Fed. These aren't those days. They're not. I think there's potential build, but it's not gonna happen overnight. And anyone thinks, oh, we're gonna go get Dame, we're gonna go get this. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's just not. It's just not. I think Dame is going to give Portland a year or two, and I think Beal is staying in Washington. We saw Curry re-up with the Warriors. Durant, after Stephen A. Smith goes and makes our lives living hell, re-ups with the Nets. I think that means Kyrie and Harden are also going to re-up with the Nets once they're able to, because they know the top guys there. So why go somewhere else? Unless there's some infighting, which I don't necessarily know that there isn't or is. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. I predict Embiid will sign his Supermax with the 76ers. So free agency has dried up really fast. So this is why you sign those contracts. You got guys who came in, they're still capable of contributing. They're more on the back end of their careers. No, not so much. I think he's only like 26, 27. But he's had his issues too. Burks and Rose is definitely on the back end of his career due to injuries. They're gonna contribute. They're gonna help you win games. You got guys who can come in, contribute, help you win games, and your core of Randle and RJ and Mitch is still intact. Hopefully Mitch takes another step. He can be more of an offensive factor. I have no problems with his defense. His offense, he needs more offensive tools. If he can be a low post threat, we really got something with Mitch. RJ got to be able to shoot off the dribble, create your own shot, get to the rim better, finish at the rim better. If he can finish at the rim better, he's going to be a 20-plus points per game scorer. And we might be sending two guys to the All-Star team in Randle and RJ. If Randle comes back like last year and RJ takes another jump into 20-plus points per game, we could be sending two guys to the All-Star team. Then how does it look now when Julius Randle's the All-Star back-to-back and RJ Barrett just made? Then things look better and brighter, right? So we got to give this team time. Let's see what they do. And I think the front office they have all the contingencies in the world. They're not afraid to make a move when they need to make a move. And they realize, what to do and when to do it. So, if Quickly takes another step, he averaged, 12 points per game? We'll get him to 15 points per game. Maybe he becomes a sixth man of the year candidate, Obi Toppin can play 15 minutes, average 10 points. Then you have something, right? And then things look even better because your players they got better, And if we're sending RJ and Julius to the All-Star game, then this whole crying for a superstar every which way, stop. I can't stand the Knicks fans. But we need a superstar. But we need a superstar. But we need a superstar. Let's hope Julius Randle has a repeat year, and let's hope RJ Barrett takes another jump. Then everybody comes out of the box a ready-made superstar. A lot of the All-Stars you see developed over years, and they became superstars. Only the generational talents come out of the box ready-made superstars. RJ's not generational, but he keeps working and keeps getting better. I sincerely hope he makes the All-Star team this year. I hope Julius is going there with him, and I hope we at least contend anywhere between 4 to 6. If we make the playoffs above the play-in tournament, it would be a very good season with improvements down the line from Julius Randle down to, Quickly and Obi. even to the rookies, that they improve so much that by the end of the season they're knocking people. Maybe they're knocking on the door of breaking the rotation after a trade is made in the offseason. So again, a solid B. They put together a solid team, 10 deep, and I think we're gonna make some noise. Not a championship contender, but we gotta take steps, one step at a time. It's really hard to get into contendership. It's really hard, but we've been bad for so long. We have to kind of pay our dues through what we call NBA purgatory, where we just make the playoffs and we don't really make noise in the playoffs. We have to pay those dues because we've been such a damn dumpster fire for the better part of 20 years. You're just not going to switch people's opinion, switch people's attitudes towards you in one successful season. It's going to take time. That's fine. As long as our players are getting better, that time, the amount of time it will take will decrease, right? Because we're getting better players organically, and because good players will see our young ascending players and say, I can play with those. Or a team will say, I'll take those assets for my superstar. Okay? So everybody got to chill. I know it's not but we didn't get Dame. We didn't get Dame. Listen, man, with the media reports, they just doing it so you would click on their stuff. There was no indication that the Knicks were getting anyone. You don't believe? The analyst picked up the phone. He called Portland. He asked his Dame available. They said no. He hung up. But I'm not going to talk about that. It's another video about how people buy into the media stupidity. But overall, B+. I think we have a team that we can watch for 82 games and watch good basketball. And I think right now that's fine. That's fine. Okay? Let's see what happens. See if we get to the playoffs again. If we can get past the first round and we lose to a Milwaukee, or we take Brooklyn to 7 games, hopefully we do, we eliminate them, because I just don't want them to win the championship. But if we can just, let's get back to the playoffs. Let's prove that last season wasn't just because of COVID and that there are good players on this team. Do that, right? Then in the next offseason, you try to get better. That's it. One step at a time. It's not a linear process in the NBA or in sports. It's not. You might plateau. It's like losing weight, right? You lose weight and you start. The weight comes down, and I gotta lose some weight because man, this pandemic put me on to some pounds, right? But I remember losing weight. Sometimes you come down fast, and it's like yes. Then you plateau, and it's really hard to get through the plateau. So I think the Knicks are approaching the plateau, and it's going to be hard, but it's going to be possible, and I think it really just depends if our young guys can really become something special, especially RJ Barrett. If he can become a 20-point plus per game scorer, we are going to be cooking with gasoline, okay? Because now it's like, how much more do we need? We have 2 young all-stars. I just need to go there and finish the job, right? Or they become even better. RJ becomes the guy. Who knows? But anyways, B+ for this offseason. Gonna go check out the Knicks Summer League. I can't wait to see some of the rookies, and I can't wait to see Jericho Sims because the dude is a freakish athlete. So I can't wait to see him. I'm not gonna get overreacting to Summer League. I'll probably do a video after Summer League as a whole is over. I'm not going to react to every game because Summer League is not an indication of what they're going to be in the regular season, because otherwise Kevin Knox would be MVP. Moment of silence for Kevin Knox, who died on the day Zion took the ball from him. I really wish it didn't pan out this way, because he showed promise. He showed a lot of promise, but it is what it is. And hopefully the Knicks can do right by him and just send him to a team that'll give him some playing time. Send him to Orlando, a little drive away from his family in Tampa, and I probably think he'd be fine. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, it's Brian. Let me know what you think of the Knicks offseason in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. And I'll catch you next time. And let's go Knicks, baby.